Okay, cool. So I think we got this. It's a 30-minute camera thing. 30-minute thing right back at where we started when we had the Canon HD. Now we have the Canon EOS Rebel with a lot more features. And I think I'm just starting to get how to use it. Where did we leave off? We were talking about improving digestion.
Yes.
Did I answer your question?
You certainly did. Love and raw food.
Yeah.
Love and raw food.
Simple combinations of raw food.
And simple.
The easier the better.
Right.
I'm telling you, like, of a truth, half of my diet is orange juice. If that doesn't digest what do you need? You wake up and around 10 or 12 o'clock, you have some orange juice.
Right.
And that's like liquid sunlight. Oranges are one of the best foods for human consumption, easily digestible. Or all the fruits.
All the fruits.
And then the vegetables second, and then you bring in the nuts and seeds, mix with the vegetables, you've got everything you need. You know, if you want to get bigger, eat more. If you want to, but you have to make sure you're digesting. So. And
so to warm up and to calm down a little bit, higher on the fats.
Calming, yeah.
Calming.
But you know, we were just talking.
Warming though, would you say? Because I've got
friction.
Blood pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Friction. Yeah.
The fats create friction and heat.
I remember you saying in one of your videos, I've been watching you for like a year now. You've basically held my hand since day one on my raw food venture. I met someone that sort of introduced the idea to me. I went home, popped it in YouTube. You popped up video of you just wildly eating out of a tree near a freeway somewhere. And the video was titled like "How to Eat Raw." And I have to say that you've changed my life. You have almost 1,700 videos on YouTube that I can pick and choose from, and I almost feel guilty that this is the first time that I've contributed to you. And the fact that you can come here and his home, it's like my Madonna, my Elvis Presley, and come and spend 10 hours in your home, really? Seriously. I mean, I hold you in a very high regard, and I'm a car dealer, so I'm able to see people's characters very well, and there's no snake oil salesman going on here. This guy lives and dies by what he preaches. And if you like hearing it, and you are learning from him, support him. Because, like I said, show up at his house and have him make you a lemon ginger blast like he made us.
That was a good one, huh?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to go hiking, we're going to go to the store. It's like hanging out with
Who'd it be for me? It'd be like hanging out with like Joel Osteen or something, or who else would be like? Who do I look up to? Like, I like hanging out with Robert Morse. God, I don't know. Who else do I love? Look up to Dr. Hawkins.
Right.
Although I just get everything I need from their books and stuff. So. I met Dr. Hawkins once, that's all I needed. I didn't go back.
And you've introduced us to Lou Corona, which, I don't know, that he brought so much for me as far as just a genuine character and the things that he talks about.
There are those of us who do this at a level that is, there are no limits.
Right.
There is no right or wrong. There's no limitation. You don't stop. There's no, I'm going to get here. I'm going to do a 21-day juice fast and I'll be done.
Right.
It's like, no, you keep going. I mean, Lou Corona is still committed to his own personal evolution.
Right. It's just neat to see you in person because there's no doubt in my mind that you 100% live on juice. I mean, you've got the purest skin and eyes, and you're, skinnier than he looks on film. And that's a good thing. To me, you can't be too rich and you can't be too skinny.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm pretty skinny right now, but there's big and slower, which is good because I've been that before when I was a bodybuilder, and I can do that with the raw foods too if I want.
Right.
And then there's just skinny and like electrical light.
Yeah, I prefer
light rod. That's just the direction I'm in now because I'm working on my own detox, which is emotional detox. And, I've been processing this thing about, my parents and how it's affected me being a father with my kids, and had a good cry yesterday about that, really committing to improving my relationship with my daughters. and breaking that cycle, which I didn't even know that was a cycle. The drugs, you could see, okay, drug addict, grandma, grandpa, everybody, you, drug addict, and then you go, okay, this is a cycle, abuse.
Right.
You start breaking these cycles, but they keep coming up. Well, here's another one, this inability to connect with your children.
Wow, you'd never guess. I see videos of you dancing around with them and stuff like that. I wish my dad was doing stuff like that with me when I was that age.
Well, when we're together, we connect, but when we're apart, I'm not the phone, I'm not really good at, and I'm not really good at the Facebook.
Gotcha.
So staying connected with them and trying to keep that relationship going. I'm an in-person person.
I understand.
You know, and so when my daughters are gone, that connection goes away. And when we talk on the phone, it's like a 14 and 16-year-old daughter with a grown dad. It's like, what am I going to talk about, boys or what? You know?
Yeah.
It's hard to, and my 14-year-old daughter, she's really, Natea and I, Natea's into fitness and training. She's raw now, and so we've got a lot more to talk about, Natea and I. And Natea and I stay in better contact. She's my older daughter. Katya and I were trying to get through this little bump in the road. They're coming next week. Katya's like, I don't want to come. She's kind of mad at me, but I'm just going to say it. You're coming. You know, like I think she needs that for me to tell her,
Yeah.
you're coming because you're that important. So it's just working on that. We're all working on breaking through. It's breakthroughs. Make your breakthrough.
Right.
That's what we're working on.
Yeah, daddies are very important to their daughters.
Yeah.
And how they do and don't treat them shapes their entire life and then relationships with men, and can create cycles in the future that they
Yeah.
have to break. You know, you always see these girls who come from alcoholic, abusive homes, which is not me, not claiming to have been in that situation, but you see them ending up with similar men, and then they leave that one for another one, and it's sort of just like they keep intending and fearing and getting into that same type of situation, and unless you have a really strong conscience, almost as tough as breaking a cooked, diet to, cooked pizza burger diet to a raw vegan diet, it's not easy, and it's just as difficult to break what you were reared to be, how you're shaped.
Right.
And it takes a lot of conscience.
We are here to change.
Definitely.
And be better. That's why we're having this workshop today.
Yeah.
Because I'm the spokesman for what everyone else is thinking, but I'm also absolutely committed to it 100%. Becoming a better person. Not that I'm not good enough, but just that it's so obvious there's so much potential in every single person.
Right.
If there's two words that I want people to feel and know, unlimited potential. You can cut a minute off your time. You can make more money. You can improve your relationships. You can get healthier. You can get rid of diseases. And you can do it all. You can be service-oriented, affluent, it's spiritual, Yeah, you can have it all. And that's who I am. Because you don't want to say, well, this part of God is okay and this part of unlimited potential is okay, but not this part. You can have really great relationships, but if you have money, you're a bad person.
Right.
But it's the same. There's just one divine, awesome flow coming into you, activating all your DNA, your abundance DNA,
and,
your youth thing.
Anytime someone would try to cut something like that off from another person, it's fear-based in that they fear that they'll never be able to achieve that level of success or health, or it's jealous. Jealousy, a lot of jealousy, but mostly I think fear. I think people are mostly good-natured and just have a lot of fear over what they can or can't achieve, and then the jealousy kicks in when they see somebody running faster, earning more, having a hotter chick, or whatever it is that whatever it is that they value. If they see somebody gaining that and then they knock it, they have to look in the mirror, and it has nothing to do with you. It only has to do with them.
Because in the beginning, the work is work.
Right.
Until you get that momentum going. When the space shuttle is leaving the gravitational pull, same thing with the diet. When the space shuttle, trust me, I know this. Like now, I'm out of gravity with the raw food diet. It is so easy. At first, no, there was weird stuff, IHOP, weird Thai food restaurant binges. I'd be driving by the Thai food restaurant trying to stay 100% raw, knowing that if I go in there, I'm going to eat that peanut sauce and it's not raw, and then I'm going to get acne, you know? And just 3 or 4 hours later, just sometimes I'd get it and sometimes I wouldn't. You know, I'd go to the grocery store and just stuff my face full of a bunch of raw foods. I'd be like, okay, take the edge off. Other times I'd go to the Thai place, get the 2 bowls of, you know, the 3 orders of spring rolls and the peanut sauce, which I knew had white sugar in it. And, you know, and then it would make my skin weird the next few days, and it just, so, when you, anything, at first, it takes effort. But then, once you leave the gravitational pull, and that's how it is with the relationships, that's how it is with the finances, you're changing your blueprint.
Right.
And so I changed my food blueprint first. That was like my main focus. That's why I'm like a raw food master now, you know. And I have all the bases covered. You want to grow, you want to lose, you want to gain, you want to spiritualize, you want to get heavy, you want to get stronger, you want to get more sexual energy, you want to reproduce, you want to have a bigger heart. I mean, you can use food to do all those things. But now there's the areas of relationships where I'm trying to get out of the gravitational pull of that.
Well, that's the cool thing about your plethora of videos. It's that you've ranged everything from just a string bean skinny dude to a buffed up muscular guy to a guy who had his heart broke to a guy who's in a successful relationship, and you're sort of a guy that, if you're real, you can relate to you. You know, if you have real emotions and real experiences, you can tune in and see it basically just splattered out over the screen, and it's so cool. It's really cool. It's like, you know, I was a loner for a long time. You know, just basically focused on my business. I spent probably 6 years interacting with one other person that I do business with, and very now I have, you know, just with the raw foods and the change of opening myself up and seeing the good in people and accepting the good in me and loving myself. Has to start with loving yourself. It's so difficult, and it sounds so selfish. So many religions or people will have you believe that it's about loving other people, but the key is, if you don't love yourself, you can't love anybody else. It can't. You will not have a genuine connection. But ever since I learned to sort of accept myself for my flaws, for the positives, and will accept everybody else's, and I've, in just a short period of time, I have a bunch of friends, a huge social life, and but when I didn't, I had you to turn to, and to watch, and to keep me on track for the raw foods.
I've heard that before.
It's the truth.
I'm some people's only friend.
Yeah, you watch it, you're real, you can relate, you know, you're going through struggles, you got, you know.
I consider everyone who watches these videos a friend. And if you came here, everyone that walks through that door gets treated the same way. Some people I resonate with more, but you're going to get fed if you're hungry, and if you don't have a place to sleep, there's a good likelihood you're going to get that, at least for a night or two. You know, that's just the way I am as a person.
Well, you're very cool.
There's nobody that walks through that door that doesn't get respected as a human being.
Yeah.
So if I met you, it'd be like that, you know. Thanks for watching the videos.
Absolutely.
You know, kind of thing.
Absolutely. Well, you're a genuine dude, and I totally appreciate it.
Thank you, Bianca. You're a handshaker. I'm hotter. Who's next? Hey, so we got like 15 minutes. We're doing 30-minute clips here. This is going great. I'm so happy you guys are all making me feel very relaxed. Remember how I used to be so hyped up and I was nervous, but now it's just like, hey, let's yeah, you come a little bit.
Man, the man.
How you doing, bro?
Yeah, you gotta say hi to my mom.
What's your mom's name?
Kathy.
Hi, Kathy. I hope that you are getting healthy and you're getting some information and knowledge from these videos and inspiration. I think that's one of the things that I prayed about. I saw a lot of knowledge when I first went raw. I was like, oh, that's good knowledge, good knowledge. There were 2 things that I saw when I began to watch the raw food educators and when I first started. The first 2 years it was just me. And then after that, I started, oh, there's actually other people doing this. And then I would go there and I would get knowledge. But no one ever told me, no one really inspired me, and no one told me what do I need to do. And so I decided at that time, here's what you need to do. You need to eat juice, you need to have a daily juice, you need to have a smoothie, and then you need to have a salad, trying to give more structure, which I really haven't been that great at, but like giving more understandable, simplified information, you know? And so that's what I committed to.
That's why I like you.
Yeah.
It's simple.
Yeah, it should be. It's so simple.
Well, my question is, how do you become intuitive to yourself? How do you overpower
Right.
all these things coming in saying, well, this, that, and, you know what I mean? Like, how do you know, or some tips on how to get there?
That's a really good question. And the first thing that pops into my head is the daily meditation I've been doing for, I don't know, 6 or 7 years maybe, about that. And what that does is that that will enhance the witness awareness component of your being. So in other words, you start to see to yourself, who here watches their mind think? So do you watch your mind think? Yeah, so you say to yourself, wait a minute, I'm watching my mind think. You're watching your thoughts. So what is it that's watching your thoughts? That's the witness, observer, consciousness, awareness, which goes beyond mind. It's more like an energy field. And so you cultivate that through meditation, and it only has to be like 5 or 7 minutes a day of just, you stop and your mind expands and your left and right hemispheres get balanced, and then you just observe the thoughts and you try to quieten them, the thoughts. You try to quiet them down and you just let go and you create more space, and so you'll notice yourself going, thinking, right?
Yeah,
like motor brain.
Yeah.
So you want to become aware of like that massively, rapid fire of thinking. And you accept it, but you also just become aware of it. And then you can begin that process of consciously slowing it down a little bit, saying, I really don't need to think this much. The world's going to keep turning and, everything's going to be fine.
Yeah.
I don't have to think so much, because the overthinking,
That's what I do.
and I understand that, and I'm still working on that. That's why I go to the desert and spend time alone in the silence, and that's why I go to my room and cross my legs and sit, or take any time that I can, at 5 minutes sitting in a line somewhere, to develop that quietness, create more of an emptiness, and realize that I don't have to think as much, and just becoming aware of how fast you're thinking and how much is going through there is the first step. And then as you begin that practice of realizing, it's like having more faith. You think you need to think your way through this life. You have to think of everything, you worry about everything, probably, right? Like, how am I going to get the bills paid? What's going to happen on Tuesday when I got to go to that appointment? Am I going to be able to make it at 3:35? And then I'll have 5 minutes to get to the train, and it's not even there yet, And as men, I think we do that more, which I think it's okay, but I used to do it so much when I was a contractor.
Yeah.
If I'd get into these longer contracts, I couldn't even sleep for like a week. I had to learn, you know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
You're thinking of the project. Yeah, I think you need to move on into something more conducive. But enhancing your intuition through the quieting of the mind and listening to the deeper, like your gut. There's a real gut there. There's an unconscious mind in your gut. The mind is like a whole bunch of programs. You watch TV, you saw the Burger King signs, your mom said, you've just been programmed. So your mind is just a whole bunch of programs that are just constantly running. And so we're trying to get to a more expanded level of witnessing all those, and your programming is different than mine, and you're just going and going and going. So we witness that, we quiet it down as much as we can, and through that process of sort of emptying yourself of the need to think so much, and that moves over into having more faith that it's all good, and you have faith in yourself that in each moment you will know what to do, and that all the bills will get paid, everything's going to be fine, you know, you don't
having
even,
faith and
right,
believing it's gonna work out. It's meant to be, right?
in the moment, like just
Yeah.
having faith in yourself that as everything arises, your deepest self will know what to do at that time instead of, because you know how it is, like I've seen this in myself even recently where it's like you have these, you go into this worst case scenario thing and it's 2 or 3 days later and you've made up all these conclusions, and then you talk to the person on the phone and they're like, oh, how you doing? Yeah, my internet wasn't working, sorry, or my phone went down, or I didn't have service, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
and you've made up all these 5 million conclusions, you
you're
couldn't eat, you couldn't sleep.
Yeah, yeah.
And so you have to take space, and you can't let your mind do that to you, which it does. Everyone knows what I'm talking about. And then your husband calls and you're like, oh, sorry, you think he's having an affair or something. He's like, no, I dropped my phone and I couldn't, and he gets home and you thought he was doing a photo shoot with a model that day and you knew it. And he was like, honey, that's my job, well, she's really beautiful. And then he drops the phone and the phone breaks, and then she's trying to call 3 or 4 times, like, are you going to pick up the kids from soccer practice? He's not getting back to me. She's freaking out. She's like, oh my God, he's cheating on me. We're going to have to get a divorce. We're going to move out. And that's the whole mind. And he gets home and I drop the phone. He's, what happened to you? Oh, my phone, I dropped it and it broke. And she's like, and she's spent like the last 6 hours in a panic attack and has all, so that's just what we do. And that's what we want to avoid, to be able to keep that process of being present and quiet, listening.
Yeah. So
And
try to
guided.
catch it. Try to catch it in the moment and
The moment.
quiet it.
Like really
Taking-
always
taking
bringing
it.
yourself back to now. Now is where intuition takes place.
Yeah.
Thinking is yesterday and tomorrow. Now is knowing, intuition. And so the power of now, it's like, oh, we read one book, you think you're going to get it. No, these are practices this is the master who works and works and works and works and works and works and works. And then the day will come when he says, I am not going to get up from this tree. I'm not going to get out of this meditation posture until I've gotten the final beatitude. But we're self-mastery, like you were saying, how you get a little impatient. That's the number one thing I recommend to people. And that's the number one thing I had was, okay, I'm going to be patient and I'm going to be persistent. And 13 years later, after raw foods, I've finally gotten to be 100% raw, easy and effortless. But now I'm just really beginning, because with the raw foods and the fasting and the juicing, you can go to the next level of just because it's the mind and the heart. So I'm just getting started now. Again, it's like the master knows that there is so much more and that he is just a beginner. A true master knows that he has just begun. So for you to develop your intuition, most of us guys, we don't have that as well. But as we eat more raw foods, a little bit more of that feminine energy comes in. And we want to embrace the feminine, by the way. If you don't, you'll end up with a lot of prostate problems, believe it or not. That's where the prostate problems are coming from, is the men who are denying the feminine aspect, And we don't want to do that. We play the role of a man. We are the we are the rock for our woman. She goes out and goes crazy and goes shopping and eats chocolate and has wine and we're at home. We got it, you know what I mean? But we also have to realize that when we're not in that role of being a man, that we are embracing the feminine, because in the end of the day, we are androgynous. And as we accept that feminine energy in us and allow ourselves to be the nurturer if we need to be, then we will also be able to that intuition will also come forth. Raw foods really brought probably too much in certain ways, to where I got to be a little bit more of I got too emotional for a while there. And I wasn't able to play my role. But now I can embrace it kind of silently and be like, when I go to the desert, I can just go and let go, and I can be the master of femininity and masculinity all at once, and open up to the floodgate of like that massively expansive energy, to where I can ask a question the other day. I said, what is my purpose? And it was so quiet and so clear that it came within, it was instantaneous. Whereas sometimes it takes a while to get the answers. So the more quiet that you get, and the more connected you get to yourself, the more easily it will be for you to ask questions to yourself. And and pretty soon you will be so tapped in that in each moment, and then the answer will always be different. It'll be different tomorrow, the situation, and so you'll be able to respond spontaneously. But as long as we remember that we're responding out of those higher energy fields, like love, self-respect, instead of sometimes so many people, they respond out of fear. And so we're really trying to slow our minds down, get calm, and so that we can respond very intelligently to these things, instead of everybody's always fighting all the time, man. Relationships, fighting with your boss, fighting with your family, fighting with your wife, fighting with your kids, instead of just listening, to the other person. And trust me, I'm only saying this because I'm going to watch this video later and learn from myself, because I'm channeling right now. But just listen and say, you might be able to say, hey, I don't really agree with that, but I do understand where you're coming from. The communication thing, that's my next level of mastery. I'm going to become a communication, relationship, we're off with master, and we're going to do retreats here and improve relationships with our kids and our significant others, because relationships are a mess these days, boy. Because we don't even know what they're about, why we're so attracted to that person in the first place, And there's a lot of reasons why. We can't go into that now because we only have 3 minutes, but do you have a relationship?
No, not at the moment.
Single right now? It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pros and cons, man.
Right, yeah, that's good. That's how you get in touch with yourself.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need that.
Live it up. I embrace all of it.
Yeah.
It's all good. Just grab what you got and make it. Just make it the best. Be in love with being single. Be in love with being in a relationship. And if you're single, then you just have an awesome relationship with yourself. And if you're together with somebody, you have an awesome relationship with yourself. And you have an awesome relationship because you are willing to develop the skills to have a relationship that thrives. By letting go of all the pain and all the, defense mechanisms and the accusations and our inability to accept the parts of ourselves that that's a bad part, this is the good part. Okay, we can have all this, but what if you do get angry? Or what if you are a man and you do cry because you need to let go? Like, I'm crying, I'm a wimp. No, you're crying because you're strong, because you're willing to face, and you need to get this out. Or you're a woman and you're angry because you're angry. And good girls do get angry, They don't have to punch anyone or cut anyone's toes off or hit anyone with a baseball bat, like my ex-wife, but and I'm the one that went to jail. I was like, she's the one that hit me with this little thing, man. I'm like, well, you're the dude. I'm like, dude, I never hit anybody. Anyways, I don't know where the hell that came from. Huh?
I just said editing.
Oh, I don't edit. Believe it. My ex-wife and I, we get along great now. And now I just need to improve my relationship with my kids. Huh? Oh, I might tell her to watch this one. Just for the hell of it, to remind us of the good old days. So we're about to shut off now after another 30-minute video. We might have to make another one if anyone's willing to go, or we can go for a walk. We could decide after this little thing clicks off here in 30 seconds. Any last thoughts? Was that
He rocks.
good enough?
There's nothing else you can say.
Thanks, bro.
He's a teacher of all avenues. I mean, it's awesome.
You guys really love me, don't you? Because you know I love you too, don't you? You better,
Real.
you better
Real
be
deal.
feeling it. I'm having a great time today. This camera's going to shut off. This is a perfect group. We're healing each other today. That's what it's always been about. We heal each other. Everyone's got something to add to the group.
Yeah.
We all pull out the best of each other if we have that intention. Peace.